Now, guys, as we saw that there is a theoretical aspects on this five, six different type of methods. There is also one concept apart from that, which is we call usually as most appropriate method. This is the common term that you'll find when you do this transfer pricing analysis and when you render the transfer pricing services. So, most appropriate has been also conceptualized under the Act. We'll just open the relevant provision and we'll understand what that particularly means. So under Rule 10C, you will find the concept of most appropriate method. Now, let me just read that. Now, Sub-rule 1 of Rule 10C says that for the subsection 1 of section 92C, the most appropriate method shall be the method which is the best suited to the facts and circumstances of each particular international transaction and which provides the most reliable measure of an arm's length price in relation to the international transaction. Right. So the most appropriate. So you need to understand that out of six methods, which can be the most appropriate method. So the most appropriate method. So that's where you come to this rule 10C. So which says that the most appropriate method shall be the method which is best suited to the facts and circumstances of each particular international transaction and which provides. So first is which is best suited to the facts and circumstances of each particular transaction and which provides the most reliable measure of arm's length price in relation to the international transaction. These are two simple conditions, right? It should it should suit to the facts and circumstances, and the second condition is which provides the most reliable measure of an arm's length price. Simple. Now we come to the sub rule 2 of rule 10C, which says that, which further states that in selecting the most appropriate method, the following factors should be taken into account, right? So when you select that most appropriate, so when in selecting the most appropriate method, so in selecting the method to be applied, you need to take into account the following factors. What are those? First is the nature and class of international transaction, right? The nature of international transaction. That's the first fundamental. Second thing, class or classes of associated enterprise entering into the international transaction, functions performed by them, take into account assets employed and employed or to be employed and the risk assumed by such enterprise, right? The class of person, the characterization part, what we saw, right? That is where it is important to characterize the entities basis their functional profile, right? Then the third is the availability, coverage and reliability of data necessary for application of method. Obviously, for comparing the transaction, control transaction, you need to have also the data which is available, the uncontrolled data which is available. So that's the third part. Then the degree of comparability existing between the international transaction and the uncontrolled transaction and between the enterprises entering into such transaction. So degree of comparability, that is also to be assessed, that is to be considered, right? If I can compare the transaction under two methods, for example, under say cup method and under TNML, I need to understand that where the comparability will be more, the degree of comparison will be more in that both method. All right, there could be there will be some situations where you'll be confused on which method to be applied. So that is when you need to determine that which method will give you more reliable results, more reliable and more practical results, right? Then fifth factor, the extent to which reliable and accurate adjustments can be made to account for differences, right? Now, if there is a cup and TNMM, but if you are able to not make adjustments under cup method on the uncontrolled prices, then you may go ahead and TNMM and make such adjustments. Is it easy or not? So that you need to judge from your particular say case facts, and appropriately you need to identify your method. And the sixth factor, the nature, extent and reliability of assumptions required to be made in application of a method. Again, the same thing, that nature, extent and reliability of whatever assumptions you undertake. So that should be, very realistic. So there is also concept. Let me just also introduce a concept which is there under OECD, which you can read from the OECD guidelines also. You may go ahead and read options realistically available. So that is also concept under the OECD. Even I have not learned more on that concept, but I know that at certain point of times, we cannot be impractical. We cannot just stuck to the theoretical aspect. we also need to see for practically what could be the uncontrolled scenario, what would have happened under uncontrolled scenario. So that is where the concept of options realistically available. So what are the options which would have been realistically available to the party, to the transaction, right, to the associate enterprise. So that is also need to be assessed. So these are all 6 factors that you need to take account when you are judging your most, or when you are selecting your most appropriate method basis which you are going to compute the ALP. I hope this entire theoretical aspect clarifies. I'll meet you in the next video where we are going to discuss on the illustrative situations wherein we will be applying, where we can apply such methods. These are illustrative situations. In under transfer pricing, every situation is new, and sometimes it may come that a situation is entirely new to the practice also. But we'll understand the illustrative situations where we can apply such methods. I hope that clarifies. And now I just see you in the next video where I'm going to discuss all such things. Hope you're enjoying this journey. I'll meet you in the next video. Thank you.